And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, futures friends and family. It's time for the Market Reflection, Monday, January the 30th. My name's John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. As usual, we're going to ask you to hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckle, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The market's headed to the downside today. We were looking for a small range. We got a small range the better part of the day. We did extend that range in the equities to the downside as investors continued to try and jockey for positions. Major, bigger players obviously are going to be hedging for whatever happens on Wednesday. We're likely to see more of what happened today tomorrow, although there are some more important in economic numbers due out. Unemployment cost index, Case-Shiller home price index, FHFA, housing price, Chicago PMI, and the most important one tomorrow, probably the consumer confidence or lack thereof. S&P's closed down about 46 points today, approximately down 234 points in the Nasdaq, and approximately down 250 points in the Dow. The Nasdaq closed down about 20%, and I think that was the deepest cut. Crude down 2.23% today, down 170, closing at $77.90. A lot of folks kind of scratching their heads on that one. It's good to see everyone, as always. George Lacey is parked right outside the kitchen, resting peacefully, of course. The Rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo to you too, Kevin. Thank you again. Always good to see you, Bill, Steven, Rusty Golfer. Good afternoon, rough day. Fought back to a 200 down. I'll take it today. It was a tough day. As you all know, I wasn't feeling all that well over the weekend. I didn't really do much. Had a couple of losses and make hold money at the end of the day there, reminding me again of why I don't trade when I'm not feeling all 100%. Good afternoon, Randolph, my brother. It's good to see you as always. Love you. Looking forward to hearing about your trip. Rate and recession fears kind of bring fear and sellers to the markets today. Positioning, hedging for the FOMC numbers on the FOMC on Wednesday, which the market has priced pretty solidly into a 50 basis point rate increase. VIX closing up 7% today, but still hanging around that 20 level. The VIX seemingly disconnected, I think, a little bit from the potential volatility that we may see this week. Good afternoon, Papa Chief. Took early profit, then started to overtrade and shut it down. Feel better. Oh, thank you very much, Papa Chief. I don't know if I've seen that name before. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Don Clemens, good to see you. Vince, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't know, 401. I don't know what that means. When we have the late session of Make Hogue Money, it takes me a little time to get prepared here for the market, market reflection, if you will. And so we're going to take a look and see what we see. As the crude oil closing below an important inflection level, I'm kind of surprised by that, but we don't get to choose. The buying started, yeah. Vince was in Make Hogue Money with me today, and we were trying to pick the bottom in that move because, man, there was some really deep negative delta in the S&Ps today. That tells me it's probably shorter time frame traders. I was looking for those short time frame sellers to turn the other cheek today and flatten up before the close. looks like it maybe happened after the end of Make Hogue Money, so maybe you're a little timed a little bit too early today. That's all right. Let's start looking at these charts. I'm going to go first here with the daily in crude oil. So, just looking at what we were seeing, we've got a really nice rounded top here. We got a lot of excess on these. Looking at Friday, we added 20,000 new contracts to open interest. That's new selling coming in. Today we extended that. We ended up moving down below weekly kickoff low, which is 78.65, and closing well below that. So, this move to the downside has some potential for continuation, and we've got a lot of space down below here. We'll see that as we continue through these charts. Here's the 30-minute chart. So we opened below weekly kickoff low. We came all the way back up. Overnight inventory was short. Overnight inventory adjusted back to almost where the overnight started, traded basically back to settlement, took out the stops above that, and then we found sellers moving this market lower for the rest of the session. We took out one naked point of control, one little gap, one little point of control down here. Now we've got a lot of space down below with which to look for the continuing revisiting of some weak structure down below. Here was the TPO chart for today. Okay, initial balance held until the very end of the day. What was that settlement price here? 77.90. I don't think we necessarily had a true late spike, but it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. So normal variation day, point of control centrally located, and a possible late spike at the end of the day today. How about the S&Ps? Well, I didn't do very much today, as I mentioned. Ended up just about even on the day, and I'm thankful for that. Excess high on Friday we talked about. On the daily here, that seems to be showing some importance here for us today, doesn't it? We opened, we adjusted overnight inventory to a point. Okay, we started here. Where did we end up? Right where we started the overnight session. That's almost an exact inventory adjustment. Once we put that in, it was all sellers all day until, of course, now that we're closed, we're seeing a decent pullback in the other direction of some of our deep shorts here, showing that they are going home flat. Let me do this. Let me F-bomb this. If you're ever missing stuff on your charts, if you hit F5, it'll fill it in for you. Here it is. Okay, the end of the day, we had more than 20,000. We had about 23,000 negative delta, 24,000 negative delta. And we've taken a bunch of that off on this pushback to the upside. This is what we were looking for, but a much bigger pullback in Make Hogue Money. But we took our loss. We kept it small, and we'll make that up tomorrow. I know you guys will do that. How about let's take a look at the TPO chart here. A lot of folks thinking we were going to target this weak low down here. Was a good thought. A good thought. We'll see where settlement is. Where would the late spike be? 31.75. 31.75. Settlement. 32.5. So no close in the late spike, but we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. NASDAQ. Much deeper pullback, but technically not as deep, I think. Not as deep. We added 800 in positive delta, positive open interest delta. We'll see if we can see that on the 30-minute chart, but a decent pullback. I don't think we've necessarily broken upside structure in any of these markets. Delta by the end of the day down around 6,000. That's pretty substantial. And again, a pullback after the close. Take a look at the TPO chart here. So there's that low we were looking at in the S&Ps. Not as weak here in the NASDAQ as in the S&Ps. We didn't get near as close to it. Normal variation day. A little bit of extreme. Settlement point of control is here. Volume point of control lower. B-shaped, looking like long liquidation, which makes sense. Gold, still range bound, very range bound, very dicey day, I thought, in gold. We can see the range for today is inside extended trading hour range from Friday, inside regular trading hour range from Friday, really just kind of rotating and seeking new information, it seems. The euro, however, was a lot different. Let's take a look at the TPO chart here. Normal variation day, upper extreme, the high of the initial balance. Kind of goofy shape. Just waiting for information, it seems. Here's the euro. Okay, a little deeper pullback off the high and a directional downside move. When you see the 30-minute, you'll see decent volume. So we opened with a gap, closed the gap, tried to push higher, ended up looking towards the lower extreme of balance. Last week's low. It's been holding relatively nicely. TPO chart. It's going to be a directional day, double distribution with a weak high. Interesting, we had a weak low on Friday, weaker low on Thursday. Lots of exactness at these lows. But then again, a weak high. What's that tell you? Excuse me. Here's the 10-year. Rates continue to leak higher, of course, expecting a rate hike on Wednesday. 30. Overnight shorts, gap close, can't get into value, rejects, and just holds for the session. How was volume? I'm thinking volume was probably pretty low, Take a look at the nat gas. Continuing to push lower. It did eventually close the gap today. But this downside structure is solid, right? Seems. I know there's holes in it. There's gaps, naked points of control. But we did close the gap today, so that takes away the possibility of a island low. Didn't put the profile on here. That's all I can say. Well, I hope you had a good trading day today. I pretty much sidelined myself for the better part of the day. This day in history, you can keep this day. There's very little positive that I'm seeing on this website here that tells us what happened on this day. Although in 1933, the Lone Ranger debuted on Detroit radio. 1882, Franklin Delano Roosevelt is born. 1994, Dan Jansen skates the world record 500 meters. And then in 1920, the Mazda car company is founded. And everything else is just bad news. As far as music is concerned, we do have Phil Collins' birthday today. Phil was born in 1951. 1951. On this day in 1956, Elvis Presley started recording what would be his first album at RCA Studios in New York. 1969. Today was the day the Beatles played their lunchtime rooftop gig on the top of the Apple building in London, lasting 40 minutes. It was the last time the Beatles performed live. See, you can have this day. Everybody remembers Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Apparently, the musicians never were the actual musicians that recorded "Relax." They were session musicians. Were used to make the records. I did not know that. So it's another Milli Vanilli situation. Well, all right. I'm gonna go and get some more rest tonight, so I get back to feeling 100%. A little help from a friend, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning on the market prep. We have the market prep straight into the market to make hold money, and at some point this week, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions about where we take all this moving forward. What would be the best? Always looking for feedback and constructive criticism. So I'll look forward to checking in with you guys as the week goes on. Have a great night. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Say a prayer for peace, and I'll see you in the morning, 7:45, for the market prep. Good night.